Philippe, what do you tell clients this morning?
Well, I mean, it's kind of sad to see what is happening because Mr. Musk seems to be on a slightly self-destructive bend. At the same time, I think that we should keep in mind that always in the Tesla investment case, there's been that a level of support, hard to define, from potential M&A interest. This company, has difficulty ramping up production, definitely. There's getting more competition coming, but the competition is coming at the level of $80,000 plus vehicles, which is not exactly where the growth is. And so the issue still remains, how do we get to a level of an affordable electric car, the kind of skill set that Tesla needs to acquire, the extra funding they need to have in place to develop cars towards that price point. It almost feels like, Mr. Musk is issuing a cry for help, that someone needs to come in and provide that skill set and also properly the funding that Tesla needs to stabilize.
Philippe, it's Rick Reeder. One question, I've followed this company for a long time, and I'm always amazed that they've obviously created some pretty extraordinary products. They've also created an energy distribution system through superchargers and other, that also strikes me as an undervalued asset that never really gets talked about. There's a lot of stress at companies, to new technology companies, as they develop what are extraordinarily new technologies. I'm surprised that people don't talk about some of the other aspects going on at the company.
I would agree with you. Also, when I hear the discussion that a car company needs to come in and get involved in Tesla, I'm not sure that's the case. Of course, Tesla needs help to stabilize its manufacturing processes, and that's something that requires some automotive experience. But a car maker will come in and basically, if you're a car maker, an electric car business is basically undermines your existing business, so your transition costs are high, and your valuation multiple will be under pressure. So there's a broader energy story around Tesla, and that's why we think that the potential interest that investors might have in Tesla should come from outside the auto industry.
Philippe, relatively speaking, and I stress the words relatively speaking, the earnings were okay. We're not talking about the earnings, and hardly anybody has been talking about the earnings now for more than a month. How do they get us focused back on the fundamentals? And do you think the fundamentals could well surprise to the upside?
I think they have done a good job of convincing the market that they can get to a small profit situation and a cash break even, but it is not enough in the sense that you can stabilize your cash flow and pay your bills, but that does not give you enough self-funding to invest in the Model Y or whatever new products is needed. And the risk that Tesla has today is that they could basically have a product shortfall in 2020 when potentially the price point of electric cars will start coming down. So even if they become self-sustained on a free cash flow basis in the second half of this year, which is nice, it is not enough to fund the product development that they need for 2020.
So, Philippe, do you think it's inevitable that they have to raise cash and raise cash soon?
There is a need for new capital. Again, you can save money, you can delay spending, you can stabilize the cash flow for a while, but this is not building the foundation for a sustainable business. And the value of Tesla is in the growth potential, and the fact that their growth potential is absolute. It's not something you trade off a combustion engine car from an electric car.
Yeah.
And if they cannot maintain the conviction that there is a top-line story at Tesla, then the multiple can only compress further.
Philippe, there's a need for new capital. Is there a need for new management?
I think it is fair to assume that the team, the skill set that have been phenomenal to create Tesla are not the ones we need for the next stage. It's something we've seen at other companies, and clearly, I think we should see a separation of chairmanship and CEOship, and I think there's a skill set that needs to be added at the top, which Mr. Musk doesn't have.